So now that we know all of the different types of sentence structures we're going to be dealing with, let's talk about some of the errors, some of the things that we're going to be expected to fix on the test. Our first big error is called a sentence fragment. This is where we are missing an independent clause, right? An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. If a sentence doesn't have a subject and a verb, if it doesn't have something that is an independent clause, it's wrong. It's a sentence fragment. We have a couple of different ways we can fix sentence fragments. The first way, we might be fixing a verb, changing a verb to make the clause independent. Bob riding the bus. What's the verb here? We're not actually fixing the verb because there really isn't a verb. We need to add a verb. So we can either change that gerund riding into something like Bob rides the bus, or we can add a verb such as is. Bob is riding the bus, or Bob was riding the bus, or Bob has been riding the bus for the last 20 minutes. When is he going to get here? Bob, get it together! The next way we might fix a sentence fragment is by removing a connector word. Look at this example. Dr. Steve, who studies cell biology and is trying to develop new cancer drugs. What about him? There's no independent clause there, right? I don't have a core sentence there of what Dr. Steve is doing. This all reads like additional information about Dr. Steve because I have a couple of connector words. One of them is this relative pronoun who, Dr. Steve who studies cell biology and is trying to develop new cancer drugs. So I could get rid of that relative pronoun who and the comma that precedes it. My new sentence would read, Dr. Steve studies cell biology and is trying to develop new cancer drugs. Great, that's fine. The other connector word I could remove is the word and. If I say who studies cell biology is just a relative clause, and I'm just going to say that's the additional information, then my independent clause is going to become Dr. Steve is trying to develop new cancer drugs. Dr. Steve, who studies cell biology, is trying to develop new cancer drugs. I've removed that word and added a comma to make that who studies cell biology I've removed the word and added a comma to make that who studies cell biology a parenthetical statement, additional information that can be removed. The other way we can fix a sentence fragment is by joining a fragment to another sentence. Look at this example. While riding the bus, my father lost his wallet. So, my father lost his wallet. That one's totally fine. That's an independent clause. I love it. It works great. While riding the bus does not work as a sentence. It is a relative clause, right? I've got that relative pronoun while. This is telling me while something was happening. But that's not a sentence. So, if I just change that full stop into a comma, then my sentence reads, while riding the bus, my father lost his wallet. Now it's connected and we're happy.